feelings that we feel throughout our body, sensations that happen in our body, is nothing more than feelings in motion, right? Emotions that we experience throughout our body. Now, from all my years of doing massage therapy work and also being someone who's active in yoga as well, and just body mind connection, self help books, all those types of things, I have come to my understanding that there really is a connection between the way that we feel in our body and between what we are thinking and believing in our heads, right? Our thoughts we were having about things. And something that I find so fascinating, even like on myself, that I find so fascinating when I'm doing thought work on myself, is that I can have a thought and I can believe it so much and think that it is just absolute truth. And when I can step back from it and realize that the emotion I'm experiencing is because how strong of the belief I have in that thought. One of the things I work on very much as a coach with my clients is to help them to find ways to explore for themselves how to see our circumstances, right, our situations in life, our thoughts we have about those situations and circumstances, and the emotion it generates in our body. Some of the things I might have posted before, I think maybe I've done a video on this as well, is the idea that, right, we can't have, when we used to say like the words like, they're hurting my feelings. Nobody can hurt your feelings. We have a thought about the words that they say, and then our feelings get hurt because we believe that thought. And sometimes people think, but that's so harsh, or that's so, kind of to say that somebody can't hurt. But people say mean things. Absolutely. I totally am not going to disagree with that. Sometimes people say some really mean things, some terrible stuff. But as soon as we decided to believe what they say, that's where we just now have given over our power to them. And we have said, yep, I believe what you say. And now I'm feeling that in my body. I'm feeling that pain. I'm feeling that sadness. I'm feeling that heaviness, that frustration, that anger. I now am feeling it in my body. My body has now captured that because of the belief I have is so strong that now that connection is there. So I want to go through an exercise of what I like to call now feelings. It's something that I do with clients, and I wanted to share it with you here in a video. And one of the things about feelings and emotions, that the more and more that I kind of dive into it with clients and with myself and with coaching that I get and all those types of things, the more connection that I create with that, the more specific I start to become about how I feel, what I'm feeling, and I take more ownership of it. And then it gets really hard, gets a little more difficult, not really hard, but I guess a little more difficult for people to say things that I now determine that they hurt me. Even if they say things directly to me, even if they say something that does, that could be considered offensive or badly done, I don't let people walk over me and say things that are, right, I can leave the room, all that kind of jazz. But at the same time, I understand that that is their thoughts and their perspective, so I let them have that. I don't take it from them. I don't tell them they can't have that. I say, yep, that's your ownership. You take ownership of that. I don't want to take ownership of that, but I'll take ownership of my thoughts and what I'm deciding to think, and now how I'm deciding to perceive what you've now told me. So the more that I do that and the more I separate that out, just the stronger I get and the more connected I actually begin to feel with myself. And it is amazing. It is so empowering. It is so powerful. And it really does help you see that the power behind energy, right? Emotions, that word emotion really does have that kind of just that real, ooh, there's something there. There's something going on because it's energy in motion. It's emotions. We're feeling things. We're having sensations in our body. These are things that the more we get in tune to it and the more clear we become around it, the better off we are at describing it, taking ownership of it, and using it to our benefit. which is the really big thing. But before we can use it as our benefit, we have to really understand how it's showing up in our lives. We have to know that it's there. We can't like put on a happy thought or a happy belief and start to try to believe that and then decide that that's how I'm going to feel the rest of my life. What we need to do is go through the emotions I'm feeling now, how I currently am experiencing emotions that I'm feeling, whether they are good or bad. And I find actually the truth is that within the deeper emotions, within that emotions of disappointment, of frustration, of heavy sadness, of a lot of worry, in those emotions, we can really see the power of it in our lives. And we can also see how we actually get to decide that power more than we think we do. Okay, my friends. So like I was saying, one of the things I teach is called now feelings. And this is a practice. This is something that, I'll tell clients, I tell people I talk to, it is something you have to do on the regular. It's something you have to intentionally want to create in your life. You have to decide that you want to understand the emotions you're feeling, how it's feeling in your body, and you want to be clear on it. And the more you connect with it, the more verbiage you use, the more language you use, the more descriptive in how you're feeling, the more deeper and deeper you go into that, the better you get. But guess what? At the beginning, you're going to suck. Like, I'm just going to put it out there. Like, you are not going to be able to connect this to your body. Like, you're going to want to say more thoughts about it instead of actually describing this emotion you're feeling. You're going to want to say, well, I'm thinking about this and I'm wanting to go here and I'm wanting to do that, instead of going into and seeing it in yourself how you're feeling. And it's the truth, because it's something that we're not used to doing. Connecting that thought that we're having, that emotion that we're experiencing to our body, getting good at it means that we have to suck to begin with, right? So it's like, be okay with being uncomfortable and thinking that you're doing it wrong. Because the truth is, if you're even trying to do it, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it just right. So when it comes to now feelings, it is about connecting the emotion we're experiencing into our body and actually seeing it in our body, how we're seeing this unfold. So one of the things that I always love to use is like an emotion wheel. This is just one that I got online, but I share these with clients all the time. This is something very valuable. I love this one particularly because it has half what you would call negative positive, but what I like to call uncomfortable and comfortable emotions. So half of it is joyful, powerful, and peaceful emotions. And then it stems, right? It goes into deeper words, because the words that you say really do matter. So you could think that you're feeling joyful, but really you're feeling cheerful. Like maybe that vibration, as soon as you say that word, it means more in your body. And that is really important to catch on to, because words do matter to yourself. You have given them power, and it matters how you say them. And so we have that. And then on the other side is the uncomfortable emotions, which are scared, mad, and sad. So maybe you think you're feeling sad, but really underneath that, you might be feeling ashamed. And you're like, oh. Or you may be thinking you're mad, but really you're ashamed, or you're feeling critical of yourself, right? So it's really getting to, yes, semantics do matter when it comes to the way that we talk to ourselves, because we connect to certain words because they mean something from our upbringing, from our bias, from whatever we've been exposed to. Those things mean something, but as soon as we can get deeper into it and we can connect it, there's so much power in that, you guys. I'm just telling you, it's just powerful, and it is a beautiful thing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to dive into now feelings. I'm going to do one particularly that I did, and I did this quite a couple of years ago, but I do them on the regular. So this is when I was newer at it. I've done it quite a few times before this, but this kind of gives you an idea of going into how I'm feeling right in my body and what is going on there, and really getting clear with myself and what that looks like and feels like. And so now feelings, these are the kind of the questions that are asked. This is a worksheet that I hand out to clients when I'm working with them. I'll put a link in the notes to get this worksheet here so you guys could have this as well. So now feelings. So what are you feeling now? This is the feeling I was experiencing. I'm feeling like a fake, an imposter. wanting to be vulnerable but fighting it, embarrassed and frustrated. So this is what I'm feeling now. And again, I went into thoughts about what I'm feeling, so I wasn't directly to it, right? What are you feeling now? It's more, I was describing it, what was going on. But really getting to the root of it, it was embarrassed and frustrated, right? Embarrassed about myself, frustrated with myself, right? I'm feeling this emotion inside. Where is this feeling in your body? I put, it's in my stomach, my stomach. It's in my stomach, and it's heavy, nauseous. So there's like this heavy feeling in my stomach when I'm feeling frustrated and embarrassed. What color is this feeling? And I says it's a sludge, a shiny black, like a tar. So can you envision that right now? Like that feeling of just that tar feeling, heavy sludge in the gut of your stomach. What is this feeling, hard or soft? So I said it's tar-like. So this is how I describe it. It says hard, but it's stretchy, like taffy. So I was comparing it to taffy. So again, right, that taffy's heavy. Like if you picked up a thing of taffy, it's really heavy and it's kind of hard, but you can stretch it. It can still move even though it's really kind of solid, right? Is this feeling fast or slow? And I said it's slow and wrapping around my intestines. So it's slow and it's pulling me down. How does this feeling make you want to react? This is a really good point here. How does this make me want to react? I feel this, right? And we get reactive. We want to fight back because we don't want to feel it. Because in the truth, when I'm feeling embarrassed and frustrated, I'm not actually present that I'm feeling it. It's not the words they're saying. It's not what, it's all within my head, what I'm thinking. And so it's like, so what is going on there? How am I reacting instead of actually just feeling this feeling? How do I want to react to it? So sharp, like acting that will cut it, like as if I was sharp with it and cutting it. So it makes sense. Like maybe I even cut myself because I'm embarrassed and ashamed, right? And frustrated with my own self because I feel like a fake, like an imposter. So I'm feeling this emotion and I'm cutting it sharp. So maybe I'm cutting myself sharp. Maybe I'm saying these sharp words to myself, saying, get your stuff together, Angela. You can do better than that, or you don't have to take that. You're better than that, right? So then with the imposter syndrome kind of thing that I was experiencing, right? This vulnerability, experiencing this, my brain's trying to protect me and it's trying to say, you're safe. So it's going to like puff me up and say, I'm okay. Instead of me going, no, maybe I'm not. And that's okay too, right? So getting clear and go, no, maybe I'm not, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with this. How do I want to think about this? How do I want to start to feel? But first of all, I got to feel what's going on right now. So here's the big one, right? Why are you feeling this way? So for me, I was having thoughts that I was creating content, being consistent, don't have any clients, that I'm doing something wrong. So I'm like having this thought, like I'm creating stuff, I'm putting it out there, I'm being consistent, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not getting clients. Like that was my thoughts I was having. And then I was talking to people about my business and I felt like I was being an imposter about it. Like I wasn't being real. I was like, so what's going on there, Angela? What's really happening underneath that, right? Like having that discussion with myself. And so I had thoughts that were taking, and this was happening when I was talking actually specifically with a marketing group that I was talking with before. And so I was having this experience. And it's so fascinating, like this whole feeling of frustration and imposter was keeping me from actually being what I wanted to be. Because if I was going to react to it and be sharp, then I'm just saying, nope, Angie, you're doing good. And reacting to it to get like bigger, like to think that I'm more than I am. Sometimes that happens too, right? Because we do that because it feels like it's painful that that's what we should be doing, is we think like the opposite should be true then. We go to extremes, that whole all or nothing mentality, right? And so we go into that and it's like, wait a minute, how do I want to feel about when I'm talking about it? What do I want to believe about how I am creating content and information, I'm sharing it with people? What can drive me that won't keep me feeling that embarrassed and frustration. And then, right, so diving into that as well next. But the first step is, right, we got to get clear on how we're feeling in our body, what is going on, and how that's showing up for us. So this is the step I wanted to share with you on now feelings. If you want to dive into this stuff, it would be my pleasure to walk with you through this. I have walked with quite a few people through this process, myself many times through this process, through all different emotions, and creating that connection of my mind to body so that I understand the things and beliefs that I'm having is generating this emotion that makes me either want to get out there and do something in my life or be something or whatever that is, right? But being from a place of like, this is just who I am, this is how I show up, that authenticness, right, that we want, as opposed to trying to do something because I have to prove. That again is that sharp feeling, right? Because my reaction was sharp. So getting clear with that, getting clear with yourself when it comes to these emotions. We have many emotions, and we can learn from every single one. Not one should be shoved down over the other, right? We don't try to keep on perpetually being happy instead of feeling the sadness. We want to feel the sadness. We want to feel the happiness. We want to feel it all. And the more that we're present with that, the more we become more present with ourselves. And when we can do that with ourselves, we become more present with others. It really is a ripple effect once we work on it within. All right, my friends, take care of you. And I look forward to talking to you again next week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.